A to Z Mysteries, The Invisible Island by Ron Roy. Chapter 4. Dink yawned and looked out the kitchen window the next morning. Fuck, he muttered. He finished his cereal and put the bowl in the sink. Just then the doorbell rang. It was Josh, standing on the porch holding a shovel. You ready to go? He asked. It's so foggy, Dink said, looking over Josh's shoulder. I can hardly see across the street. We won't find the island, let alone the island, let alone a treasure. If there's more money out there, I'll find it, Josh said, scratching his ankle. Let's get Rufus. I'm already here, Rufus said, appearing out of fog. When she saw George scratching, she said, You better put something on the poison ivy, Joshua. My mom said that the same thing, Josh said. He scratched his arm. She gave me money to buy some calamine lotion. Now let's get going. Balancing the shovel over one shoulder, Josh led his friends through Rose's vineyard and across Meadow Road. The tall tree grows on grass on the other side soaked their sneakers and legs. Near the river, the fog was even thicker. A huge and tree branches like miniature clouds. The kids' faces and the hair were wet. I can't even see the river, Dink muttered. It's right here, Josh said, splashing the water with his shovel. Yeah, but where's the island? Rose asked. The kids gazed out to where they thought Squall Island should be. All they could see was more fog. One patch looked a little darker than the rest. That must be it, Josh said, stepping into the water. Come on, guys, I can almost smell the money. Like a hound dog, Dink muttered. The river was quiet. No birds sang. The kids' legs splashing through the water made the only sound. Dink began to imagine some frog monster creeping toward him. It had slimy green tentacles, 6-inch long teeth. Dink was glad when the water became shallower. Suddenly his foot struck dry land. They were on Squall Island again. The kids stopped and looked around. Whips of fog hung over everything. Dink could barely make out the mound of boulders in the center of the island. He remembered yesterday's sun on his back and shivered. This place is creepy in the fog, Rose said. I hope the sun comes out soon. Okay, Joshua, Dink said. You got us out here. Now what? Josh stroked to his friend's hands and knees. Help me find the big footprints again, he said. The kids quickly found the prince and followed them to the down to the squat vine covered boulder. So where the Bigfoot go from here? Josh muttered. It looks like the guy walked right into this big boulder, a big rock, Ding said. Maybe he climbed over it, Rooster said. George poked his shovel into the poison ivy vine, covering the boulder. The shovel clicked against the stone. George tried another spot. This time the shovel went straight in. Hey guys, George said. I think I found something. Using the shovel to keep the vines back, George peered into a dark space. There are two boulders here, he said. And look, Rooster said, a little path goes right between them. The path was hidden, covered with poison ivy leaves and vines. He must have gone through here, Ding said. But it's all poison ivy, Rooster said. Wait a sec, George said. He chopped at the poison ivy with his shovel until he had cleared the passage. Just be careful, he said. Single file, the kids walked down the narrow path. Enormous boulders loomed over them on each side. Soon they came to a small sandy clearing in the middle of the rocks. The rocks were thick with poison ivy. The dew-covered leaves all drew green in the fog. I feel like I'm in a jungle, Rooster said.
In some
Jungle, Rooster said. More prints, George said, dropping down on his knees. Dink got down next to George. They look like they're from the same guy, Dink said, but there are so many, and they walk all over each other. Now what, George? Rooster said. Now we search for treasure, George said. We'll take turn a dig all over this place. They begin digging hole after hole. Rooster find the rusty nail, but no treasure. Soon the kids were sweaty and covered with sand. George started filling the holes back in so no one would step in them. Dink flopped down against one of the boulders. Watch out! Rooster yelled. Dink jumped away from the log. Something was sticking him through his search. Ouch! What's poking me? He asked. He turned around so George and Rooster could see his back. Can you see anything? George grinned. Just a hunk of poison ivy, he said. George, stop grinning and get it off me, Dink yelled. I'll get it, Rooster said. She brushed at the twig with the shovel hand. Is it gone? Dink asked, trying to see over his shoulder. This is amazing, Rooster said. Look, Josh, I don't believe it, Josh said. What's amazing? Dink cried. What are you guys doing back here?
back there.
Here. There. He was already feeling itchy. The poison ivy is fake,
This
Poison ivy is fake,
Rooster said.
said. Huh? Dink turned over. Rooster handed him
Dink turned around.
Ruthless handed him a green spring. Sprig. The leaves were plastic and the stem was made of brown wire. I don't get it, Ding said. Why would anyone? This is too weird, Josh said. He placed the shovel blade between the boulder and the fake poison ivy. Then he twisted the shovel and fired up a section of vines. It came away from the face of the boulder in a sheet of fell flat on the ground. The whole rock is covered with plastic poison ivy, Rooster said. Tied to a wooden frame. Forget that, Josh said. Look what was under this stuff. The boulder wasn't a boulder at all. The kids were standing at a large square cement slab. Chapter 5. What is this? Dink and Roosters asked at the same time. It looks like a cement refrigerator, Josh said. The Roosters laughed. Gee, Josh. I wonder if there's food in it. Very funny, Josh climbed up on some small rocks and hoisted himself to the top of the slab. It's flat up here too, he said. This thing is a big cement box. Is this front part the door? Rose asked. She poked the flat slab with the shovel. Dink ran his fingers along the sides. I can't find any hinges, he said. Hinges, he said. He tugged at it, but it didn't budge. Maybe there's a secret rock somewhere, Rose suggested. She began digging around the bottom of the slab. All she found was a stone and poison ivy roots. Ouch, George said, still on top their step. There's something sharp up here. He poked his head over the top. Climb up here, guys. I think I found the key to this thing. Dink and Rose scrambled up next to Josh. Look at this, Josh said. He pointed to a metal rope poking out of the cement. Try pulling it on it, Dink suggested. Josh grabbed a lot and yanked. Doesn't come out, he muttered. Does it wiggle back and forth? Rose said. She put her foot against the rod and shut. It still didn't budge. Well, it has to do something, Dink said. He climbed out of the cement box, grabbed the shovel, and handed it up to Josh. Try hitting it with that, he said. He held the shovel over his head, braced himself, and gave the rod a good smack. Suddenly they heard a scratchy noise and the fingernails on the chalkboard. Wow, that did it, Dink yelled, jumping back. It's moving. The cement door swung open, revealing a damp, musty closet. Dink took a step forward, then stopped. His jaw dropped. What's in there? Josh asked, starting out at Dink. Dink didn't answer. Dink, Rooster said. What's going on? Dink gulped and tried to speak. M. What the heck is Ma? Josh asked. Muffins? Dink could barely breathe. He alone talk. Money! He finally said.